You know when someone's listening to you that they can summarize what you just said back to you, to your satisfaction, or they can reiterate your point or argument back to you. And the key there is to your satisfaction, because of course they might think that you said something, but you have to then say, yes, you are successfully representing my point. Now, in debate, I remember we used to have to actually know inside and out our opponent's argument as well as our own. We had to be able to even argue and advocate for their side. So we would actually be switching sides to learn. That's how you learn argumentation, and that's how you learn to have a nuanced, open-minded, flexible way of thinking, because you are stepping into someone's shoes and gaining the ultimate empathy, because you are seeing, oh, this is a complex issue with many variables. Often in arguments, there's so many different types of fallacies. And I'm not going to get into the names, I'm just going to say that what I see that I'm going to focus on today is the misrepresenting someone's side and then arguing with that misrepresentation. Now, and what it really is it just comes down to a conversation between you and your ego, because it's just you having fun with misrepresenting, mischaracterizing their argument, and then acting as though, oh, you're so stupid. Oh, that person's so ignorant. But no, you've actually reduced them to caricature. And so how this works is we see that honestly people just completely misunderstand and misrepresent arguments, so they never actually have a true understanding of the other side. And so that's why they just continue to get off on this superiority and this rage that it truly doesn't even make sense. Because whenever we misrepresent, I bet you notice this, whenever we misrepresent, it's always that person is maybe not representative of the entire collective or that entire group. It's usually a misrepresentation that's just, it's very exaggerated and extreme, and it's usually the dumb and evil card. But it's also, most of the people in that group would say, well, that's not the representation of the opinion. For instance, you see misrepresentations of what conspiracy theorists say about everything. Like, it's never actually the smartest person that they use as an example. They always use talk about flat earth, lizard people, actually stuff that people who actually are conspiracy theorists, those aren't actually anything anyone's talking about. I mean, so it's like a look over here distraction ultimately. And we see it also with how the right treats the left on terms of racism. The right kind of has this idea of always portraying the leftist, who is the Antifa person that's burning things down, and they won't ever refer to books like How to Be an Anti-Racist. They will talk about white fragility, that book, but it's clear they haven't read it. Like, they're just talking about what they think it's about. Again, it's misrepresenting the leftist point of view and arguing with that misrepresentation and then feeling good with your ego. So we see that both sides, no question. It's only when you can look at both of those sides and see that they're both two sides of the same coin that are arguing and talking to each other without any curiosity. No, I want to get to the bottom of you. I respect you enough to understand you. There's none of that, and that's what's such a problem. Because if there was just that level of, I would like to understand you, like it seems like both sides have this, they scoff at that and say, I won't try to understand evil, because they both see each other. It's like a very interesting mirroring where they both see each other as the ultimate evil and dumb. They both see that villain, that Disney villain. And so how do we grapple with this? if we realize that the bulk of arguments are misrepresenting someone and arguing with that misrepresentation, we can get past the idea of thinking, well, actually, maybe the content that these people are looking at, and the speakers, the thought leaders in this group, aren't what I'm just told and aren't just this villain caricature. Maybe if I pay attention to what the smart people are saying on both sides, I will actually have an understanding and get beyond this kind of knee-jerk rage and knee-jerk superiority. Because you find when you read, especially, I mean, it's pretty easy to find smart examples of the leftist point of view in culture, because obviously you have academia, Hollywood, and books. So why not, there are smart representations. Why not read those, and then you'll come from a place of knowledge and understanding. Why not expose yourself to understanding what the smarter, more dimensional argument is for that. Likewise, leftists, instead of reducing right people to the classic bigots, racists, and conspiracy theorists, find the smartest person representing those. And then of course there's a scoff like, oh, I never find. No, you will, there's absolutely, you're not actually trying to get the truth if you're not finding it, because you would rather just be superior. Would you rather be aiming at truth or aiming at superiority? You're going to have to give up the ego in this if you really want to understand. Because the thing is the smart people that are representing the nuance and the point of view, they're usually maligned, but then they're maligned and then the summarization of their point of view is not their point of view. So again, when I say look into the thought leaders, I don't mean read a summary about what someone else says they say. No, read from their source. I'd say read White Fragility, read How to Be an Anti-Racist, and read Candace Owens' Blackout. Read Thomas Sowell's Race and Intellectualism. That's giving you a palette that's actually, oh, I actually am understanding that the representations of these thoughts and what I'm told the representations are, that's a misrepresentation, that's a mischaracterization. I'm going to actually see what they say in their own words. And I'm also going to look at, I'm going to have this flexibility of mind where I can actually hold two contradictory thoughts. Like I could step into how this person's shoes and where they're coming from, what information that they, what context and information that they absorb every day, why they're coming from where they're coming from. And likewise, oh, this person, they're coming at it from this angle. You can, it's so strange that we have to, that we are reduced to such a limited, like Disney villain and hero type of just extremely simplistic thinking. And it's because we've got our emotions enraged. Our emotions are easily being manipulated. And that's, the main point of today is, think about how many times your opinion has been misrepresented and mischaracterized, and you've gotten very upset and emotionally, that has gotten you riled up. Well, think that's happening exactly. There's no rationale it is happening on the other side that you think is just the ultimate evil. So consider trying to understand and looking at, and honestly, looking at books or content from both sides gives you a much clearer picture of reality. If you're just in a silo, and I know that everyone just kind of laughs off the echo chamber thing now, like there's a point where now everyone just laughs that off, or they scoff at the idea of what they think another point of view is. It's not that they even know, that they don't know the actual point of view that they're arguing with. They are just so sure that it's what they imagine. It's like a hallucination of an evil person that they just project on. So it's just so valuable for you to actually get out of that knee-jerk defensiveness, rage, moral superiority, and assumption. And just consider opening your mind to, like we said in the other video, cognitive dissonance. And it's not we, it's me. But anyway, think about when you're misrepresenting someone's point of view and you're arguing with that misrepresentation, you are just having a conversation with yourself to just really to get off on yourself. And think about, and actually if you can summarize someone's argument to their satisfaction, so if you're going to talk about, say, Scott Adams, Dave Rubin, Candace Owens, say, I'm going to try to get to the bottom of what their point of view is, and I'm going to imagine that if I'm articulating it out loud, that then they would say, yes, that's what I think. Not that they would get riled up and say, no, I'm not, please don't reduce my opinion to this villainy and this exaggerated caricature or this one variable kind of reduction, okay? So probably, that's the one thing I've really learned as a note to my younger self is absolutely that I'm not going to misrepresent someone's point of view and argue with that misrepresentation, because that's really just me stroking it's just an ego boost. And that's not really going to get to the truth. That's just going to get to moral superiority. We can get beyond that. We can grow up and we can get in a smarter, more dimensional, nuanced place.